The way that I'm treated has genuinely destroyed me because of all the hate. One person can only genuinely take so much.
So Amberlynn Reid has quit, and with everything going on, it only looks bad. Once again trying to lie, gaslight and pity her way out of her own sorry actions. From faking disorders to lying about problems only to get caught red-handed the second she does it, she's always a problem on the internet. But for now, with a potential family lawsuit as well as her quitting the internet, it looks really bad. And I think it's true when we say Amberlynn Reid is in a big amount of trouble. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I am Jake Baz, and today we're going to be going through one of the darkest and weirdest hustles on the internet. Who is Amberlynn Reid? She's a YouTuber that's been around for 13 years now, initially posting about her doing her weight loss journey. But unfortunately, with everything that she does, she just ends up having a full-on car crash, and we could call her a lol cow at this point. With this latest scandal in mind, having her potentially being sued by her own family members, as well as her quitting YouTube in an attempt to save face. And with all the dramas in the past of her, with her crash outs and everything to do with that, you got to wonder, how do we even get to this point? With all this coming up, if you enjoy the video at any point, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. As along with Amberlynn, I'm very happy to keep on covering a load of TikTok cretins. So you might be wondering, how does she ended up getting in the position of being sued at this point? Because being sued by a family member is quite a serious thing. And well, is it not just the consequences of her own actions with everything that's going on? It all starts initially with a very messy, broken relationship. As about a year ago, Amberlynn got into a relationship with someone called Emily, who is previously Tommy, so we will call them Emily at this point. And this relationship caused a lot of drama on the internet, mainly because this person was seen as a feeder. Now, if you don't know what a feeder is, that is someone who will get into a relationship with someone or have some parasocial relationship where they will end up paying them to eat until they end up, going over the edge. Not entirely great for Amberlynn Reid, seeing as 13 years ago she created her own YouTube channel so that she could cover her weight loss. And throughout the entire time, she was committed to saying that he wasn't a feeder.
No, she is not a feeder. People think that she's a feeder, and she's definitely not that. Like, yes, she has a specific type, but I'm letting you guys know that, like, every single person that I've been in a relationship with, everyone that you guys have known, they said that they prefer girls my size. A feeder versus someone who prefers bigger girls, two completely different things.
So she goes on and says that, and then despite what she has just previously said, everything on the internet was suggesting otherwise. This Emily was found on different eater subreddits, which really is a level of degeneracy that I don't even think I want to go down. When Emily was confronted about stuff as well, she would not really overtly deny that she is a feeder. She would just sort of skirt over it. And that alone could be enough to say, well, she probably is a feeder. But then also, with everything that everyone was seeing on social media, it was looking like it. And that is because the majority of the time that they were out doing stuff together in the vlogs, they were always eating food. Quite a simple premise, but it felt like it was getting pushed onto Amberlynn because this person does prefer a larger woman. And everyone has their preferences, but to the point of purposely fattening someone to then put them in harm, yeah, that's really not the best idea, is it? And because of this drama and controversy, it got to a point where they ended up breaking up, or supposedly breaking up, because of all of it that was going on. She couldn't handle the trolls, she couldn't handle the drama surrounding her, so that was it. Crash out, gone. Until just about a month ago, where it turned out that, well, we're actually together. With a posted live saying that we've been together the whole time. Not only were the fans around her really worried about her because of this situation, but also this really angered the Aunty, leading for her to have a full-blown crash out where she goes and explains why she's done it.
Genuinely, scary in my life. And I feel afraid to say anything. I've been afraid to say anything this whole time because, I did not want to hurt her. And she wanted nothing to do with online. But then she would say all these awful things.
For me, really, it's why have you omitted this information other that you thought you knew it was guilty? You said about, well, this needs to be taken offline. We want an offline relationship, which a lot of people can have and do have very well. But I don't think it's how it works in the, well, yeah, you just pretend that they're broken up and then nothing happens and that's it. Because this relationship was initially entirely online as well. Like I said, with the feeder forums, this Emily has really been pertinent online, and that's how they met. Sharing stuff with each other, being being together all the time. So for them to turn around, switch it up and say, well, this doesn't matter anymore, I don't want to be in this relationship online, it doesn't make sense, does it? From this led to a load of like allegations, accusations just being treated like from Emily towards Amberlynn, which is really bad if you look at it that way. But then, as we will cover in this video, there is so many instances of her just like lying or obfuscating the truth and making everything about herself that it doesn't come across like it's entirely the truth. And I mean, if you're going to get to the point of a family member suing you, it probably isn't. And as I said, because of this fallout, there was then a lot of accusations that were thrown towards her, which really added another depth to this.
That was the first time she got physical with me. She threw things at me. What did I throw at you? You know what? Let me go right here. What did I throw at you? Actually, I threw things at her. Wait, hold on. Let me go to the message. She threw things at me. I didn't throw a thing at you. Sorry, I haven't been like explaining that. I haven't been reading super chats, but this one I just have to like respond to. The way you're getting angry now shows how you were. This is called reactive. This is called I'm reacting.
I don't know why she has to count with the words on her hands. Like, why are you doing that? Accusations of her being a certain type of abusive with her ex, which obviously she vehemently denies and says she never did anything like that.
This is called I'm reacting to trauma. I'm reacting to being gaslit. I'm finally, like, this is what they call when a narcissist constantly pushes and pushes and pushes someone, and then they finally like respond. It makes them look like the crazy one. It makes me look like I'm actually insane. You know what? I probably am.
Yeah, I have a feeling you might be a little bit. A trend with Amberlynn is that she will go on these rants and will call people narcissists, like she calls her anti-narcissist that we'll get onto in a second. But it just really makes it so messy that she does it in this way. I'll never understand why she goes on YouTube Live to talk about this drama and it does end up backfiring. But I just don't get it. And you're having an argument with your ex during a live stream. But I think you'll find throughout this that, well, Amberlynn is not really what she says she is. Because through these slew of allegations of her being abusive towards Amberlynn, it brings up a bit of a rusty corner that nobody is willing to talk about up until this point. Leading to family troubles with her aunt coming out with multiple different things to try and disseminate and to slander Amberlynn in a sense. Not that with all of the lies of the past, with all of her certain problems and ailments that she has might be the, you know, a deciding factor on whether to trust her or not, but her aunt has decided to come out and really share the tea. This started very shortly after this initial stream exposing that they're together, and I presume it's because the aunt does not really like Emily, because whenever she gets into some problems or troubles, Amberlynn, in her relationships especially, she does tend to go to the fact that, well, they were absolutely terrible to me, and there's a bit of a pattern there. Because of this, Amber was going, yeah, go on, let's get on a live stream and talk about it, and she seriously got humbled.
Maybe me and Amber need to get on a live and compare receipts and stories and see how that goes.
Let's do it. Get the on my live, Tammy. Get the on my live. We can do this. Square up. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, but on that live, amongst other things, she talks about getting a certain R towards her from one of her ex-partners in the past, over 10 years ago. Because in the past, there have been previous allegations which haven't been substantiated at all around it. And then her aunt is saying that, well, yeah, this has actually happened to me. So why are you throwing it around so easily? And, well, her aunt puts it very perfectly.
What about your uncle and me? How about that for a family drama, huh? And then you go on and be a victim to others? Like, that's just weird to me. When it's such a hot spot in our family, and you put that word around like it's light as hell.
Amberlynn has a tendency to rattle and rant and be angry about stuff, and also to just totally exaggerate the truth.
You used the wrong word, right? When you accuse somebody, an innocent person who at the time was young as shit, you accused them of something that they did not do. Thank God he had a voice to speak up.
And in a very rare case, you actually see Amberlynn cry purely because of her guilt, as opposed to her crying because she wants attention or because she wants something out of it. But her aunt had a very good point to her, and in this live stream where they were together, she just scolded Amberlynn the entire way through, to the point where she really did have enough. But then also, with we mention of, well, a pattern of behaviour, here we have one of Amberlynn's exes who talks about actually being with her at the time, and it gives a very similar story of what she is actually like as opposed to what she presents herself as. Because remember, she thinks that in a lot of her situations, like in her previous relationship with Emily that has gone wrong, she has done nothing wrong herself, whilst also contradicting herself quite a few times.
As far as talking about my ex, I don't know if I can date ever again, because I've just got so much trauma and PTSD, and coming out of that, I feel I'm ruined from being in relationships, because I haven't really been with anyone since, and would try to talk to people just to see where it would go. If it would be, friends or anything more than that, I would slowly stop talking to them. And I feel awful for doing it, but I'm terrified. I'm so scared.
Just one example of Amberlynn's past creeping up and reaching her to the point of where she has now had to quit. But like, if her previous relationships are experiencing the exact same sort of gaslighting and problems as what the newer ones are, it really shows a pattern, doesn't it? That is what it is. And whether or not she thinks she's done something wrong or not, it looks bad. Especially when you're a social media creator, you cannot just throw around the R word and the R charge like it's absolutely nothing. Especially when it was something that wasn't real in the first place. It didn't happen. And although it was a long time ago, it still really reeks of just terribleness to even lie about that. And it's got to the point where her aunt has genuinely gone and filed a lawsuit on her because of all of her lies. Well, at least that's what I think it is, because looking at it, it gets really confusing. So this is real documentation. You could go and find it on the internet, and also the names are not blurred out because everyone knows what both of their names are. But it is a genuine district court actual lawsuit, which at first, when she was scolded so much on a live by her auntie, and her auntie's saying that she's got the receipts and everything, it paints a bad character onto her. But then also, with the way that this lawsuit is handled, it really seems like a bit of manipulation. And although I do believe this lawsuit exists, it's really blurring the lines. Because if you see at the top right, you will see it is a small claims for indebtedness of over $5,000. Now, that's a bit different, because if it was something what she said, I'm going to sue you for slander. That's not for slander. That's for owing someone money. As you can see at the bottom as well, yeah, issue indebtedness filed by her in the small claims court. So this is something which is definitely not as it seems, because it is being pivoted as some form of like, this is a slander allegation that has gone to court. You are getting sued because you've done this on the internet. But then also, it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with actually her owing money. And as much as her aunt keeps going like, I've got all the receipts, got all the details and that, it just adds a little bit more when you're saying you're going to sue them for slander and then not doing it. And my only thought is, it is because it's really hard to prove in court. But then still going for actual small claims, whether or not she owes her money, I imagine she does, considering that they're going to court for it. But it just seems a bit wrong to skew it that way on the internet. And it also adds another layer to what motives does her Aunt Tammy have with trying to sue her and also trying to scold her on the internet, like here, where in trying to prove of how much of an unreliable narrator she is, as we talked about the R charge very recently, a second ago, she is talking to Amberlynn here. It's in 2011 and she's talking about her relationship, and she says it's a completely different lifestyle here. They are rich and so friendly. Crystal is a complete sweetheart. I'm still missing love for this other person, though. I feel like it will never end. Bit of a weird thing to say when you're talking about being in a relationship with someone that you missed that previous relationship. Just being so honest about it. I think she needs a bit of healing, as opposed to jumping straight into one and going to a totally different town to live with them. Also kind of shows the motives of Amberlynn there, where she says they are so rich and friendly. Ah yes, exactly what you want in a relationship, being rich and being friendly. Doesn't matter about the person as long as they're friendly and rich, am I right? But this was also shown by Aunt Tammy to prove that, well, she was happy in that relationship. And I don't really understand why that's a thing. This doesn't really show that she was happy in a relationship because she sent you a message saying she's happy. There might be problems around the back. But saying, yeah, they're all sweet and friendly, I imagine so. But it just seems weird from the aunt to be doing all this. But one thing does seem very clear around her, and that is that she does really have a problem with making herself the victim all the time. Amberlynn Reid is always like that. And previous to filing this lawsuit, she actually went on another YouTuber's live stream, Aunt Tammy, and talked about one previous situation that she had with Amber. In this, she said that she was having an extramarital affair, which obviously not a very good judge of character as it is. And, well, this problem arose because of Amber trying to get something out of it.
I was living a life I didn't like living, but it was happening. So I opened up to my sister and everything was good. Well, she tells Amber.
Oh.
Finally tell this man, I'm going to have to tell my husband. We're not barely even talking, breathing the same air at this point. I'm not living like a double life, but, So we're in the process of that. And that very next day is when Amber tried to blackmail me. And she said things like, she said, I wonder what your husband would think if she knew you were doing what you were doing with the karaoke guy. And that's how I knew she knew.
Just insane that, innit? It's the way that she's done it and portrayed it throughout that entire thing. As long as this is allegedly true, it paints Amberlynn in a terrible character. Well, it paints both of them bad. But when the sister went and told Amberlynn, the first thing she does is try to blackmail her auntie by saying, well, it'd be bad to find out, if this happened, you know what I mean? Obviously, the cheating is terrible, but the way that she has gone about it, as opposed to trying to, help the person and make them tell them, it's more of a snide, snarky way to look at it that is kind of a little bit like, you should probably do that. It would be a shame. It shows that she really always wants to get one up on her.
Joke was on her because, like I said, I had already told him the night before I was going to have to tell my husband. It was getting to that point. No, I did not expect it to be that next day, by all means. But because of what Amber said, I told her, well, joke's on you, because I was going to tell him anyway.
That also apparently broke her ego a little bit and really upset her, which, yeah, well, if you're going to try and pull that and get an Uno reverse card pulled on you, it's a bit tough, innit? Because Amberlynn always wants a one-up. She wants to be getting one more than anyone else. I think obviously they're both in the wrong in this situation, but at least the aunt came out and did tell the person and was aiming to tell the person. But the sister, after telling Amberlynn, has then straight away tried to have a go at her. Try to get a one-up, try to get something off of her, just so I'm going to tell them if you don't do this, and that is pure blackmail. Amberlynn's always seen herself as the professional victim. She's the one who's going through all of this hardship, and everyone else needs to back down and listen to her and understand why she's going through what she is. It's always her problems, her issues, and for someone who calls other people, including both the people we talked about earlier, narcissists, it's quite ironic that you go onto one of her live streams and she says I about everything for the entire way through. I'm willing to get into this, but it was building up all of this from this crash out that she had where she got her ass handed to her by her auntie, and then also being sued about 2 days after she has been filed and it's all public now. She has gone on and decided, I'm quitting. Posted a video saying I'm leaving, and to me it comes across as, well, I'm just trying to escape from all of my problems. But there is quite a few things in here which really do unlock what she is like as a character and why she's actually doing this. And obviously it starts off with a big bit of sympathy.
I'm going to be taking a break from social media, and I know I usually don't give you guys that update type deal, and I was debating back and forth, do I say something, do I not? And people get upset when I don't say something. This stuff with my aunt is so crazy.
If she doesn't usually do it, why does she decide to go and announce that she's doing it this time over? I think you can all understand why. I think she wants the pity from everyone around this situation, and that's what this entire live stream really comes out to be.
She can speak her truth, but then the minute I speak mine, she's like, see you in court. And I'm like, I'm unwell. I'm unwell. I'm genuinely unwell.
Right, okay. so what? Like, this is so baffling to me. The idea that she's like, well, I'm so unwell, so I can't do this. Doesn't matter how well or unwell you are, you're still going to court if you've been given a court date. But then ultimately what she's doing here is trying to play the victim card. She's acting like, well, I'm in this situation. Why is nobody helping me? Because I'm unwell. I don't need this right now. So please drop it. But then also the idea of when she's speaking her truths, if I speak mine, you're going to court. Well, that doesn't really add up, does it? Because in the actual live stream where she was having her ass handed to her for an entire hour by her auntie, it didn't come across like that at all. It came across as someone who was trying to guilt trip people and saying that she's had certain problems as well as certain dramas going on, and well, that's it. Meanwhile, her auntie was trying to rebut all of her stuff with actual claims, and that's what it ended up being. And I feel that that's why she might have gone off, because it's driven her off the edge, being just destroyed.
I have had a slander, if you will, if we want to use that word. I've had slander happen to me for 12 years now on YouTube. Never sued a soul. And I'm telling you, the things that people have said about me has been crazy. Like crazy.
Just notice as well the way that she is in all of these, where it's all about her. It's me, 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 me. It's nothing to do with any situation, but it's about the perspective of that situation from her, and you should all feel sorry for her for that. What insane moral grandstanding though, in that I've never sued a soul for any of this across all of my time. I've been slandered loads of times. Well, maybe you have been slandered quite a few times. I have seen that myself, but that doesn't excuse you being sued yourself, especially when it's from someone like your aunt who is not on the social media space, and it seems like it's actually intentional here. You can't really play the guilt complex of, well, I've never sued anyone, so I shouldn't get away with this. It's not really how crimes work or how any legal proceedings work either. But actually, this claim as well could genuinely be rebuted just a tiny bit from what we have seen in the past couple of days. Because there is this YouTuber called Abigail who covers certain topics, such as, for example, Amberlynn Reid, and she did a video a couple of months ago around Amberlynn Reid and what she is like as a person, specifically to do with her new girlfriend videos, because she goes through so many, it's just a cycle. In that time, remember as well, they've been together all the time after saying, well, we've broken up now. It's so messy. But Abigail posted this a couple of days ago. Wow, seems like Hammy's big mad. Thanks, girl. She's always lied so much about how she would never ever try and get anyone's content taken down, you guys. When time and time again, she's proven otherwise. Because, yes, she does have a tendency to create these fake sort of people on YouTube channels and then strike them down because she doesn't agree with the things what people are saying. May I just add that that is totally against YouTube terms of service. That's not allowed. You shouldn't be doing that, yet she decides to do it herself. I wonder how she'd feel if she posts something which, bear in mind, she posts like vlogs, but they are not edited at all. Someone works really hard on a video and she just gets her money stolen. Like, that's not right. Showing, yep, we have received a privacy complaint regarding your content. Upon our analysis of the claim, we have removed the content in question, taking down that content from the channel, which I think is really terrible. There is nothing privacy complaint about it. Maybe she was trying to argue, well, it's doxing me or something stupid like that, which is not the case. But it's really embarrassing for Amberlynn to go around doing this just because she doesn't agree with people. But also, it shows the character of her because, well, she's saying, well, I've never sued anyone for stuff like this, but you are also going around and taking away stuff, taking people's money, which is exactly what's going to be happening in this legal case if it goes to court, allegedly, for your own benefit because it hurts your ego. It is the exact thing that you are saying that you don't do practically. It's entirely hypocritical and it's not what she thinks it is. Because another YouTuber also spotted that, well, this is a little bit odd, isn't it? Because Amberlynn has had multiple burners in the past and they like to be self-critical and things like that. It's come across as like, oh, maybe it's a super fan, but it's definitely not. Everyone thinks it's Amber, allegedly. So this normal difference posted a big sort of paragraph in this comments section saying that they're friends of the family and also saying that they're mass reporting any of the content that references anyone other than Amberlynn Reid or people who willingly made themselves public. Basically arguing if they're in a vlog, well, we're going to take them down. Well, that's the entire point of her vlogs if she goes out, so not really it, is it? They joined 13 hours ago. Someone pointed this out and said it is word salad, and they replied, almost like we made this account for this purpose, which is not looking good, is it? I don't know if this is specifically Amber, it potentially might be, but it's very weird timing in it that she's quit, and then the second that she quits, she starts taking down videos. That would seem very timely, wouldn't it? Almost like she's got a lot more free time now, so she can kind of manage her own content, trying to amend how people perceive her, but that's only going one way, innit?
It's hypocritical, and it's another way to silence me. And you know what? You won. I'm gonna keep my truth. I'm gonna journal it out. You know, one day I might publish those puppies. I know how bad so many people want to read my journal, so it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to me anymore. You know what? I might see her in court, and the thing is, she's not gonna win because there's nothing to win. A lot of people have taught me it's really hard to prove slander, etc., etc. I believe what I said is 100% true. So that is what I have to stand on.
I think the problem is it doesn't matter what you believe. The truth is the objective truth. So whether or not you're lying or telling the truth will be proven in court if you see her there. Also, just the side rant of, well, I really should publish my journal, shouldn't I? A lot of people want to read my journal, do they? I'm sure that'll be a bestseller anywhere in the world. So it's fine then. She's going to win the lawsuit because she believes in what she said and she's written it down in a journal. I think that's what we should take home from here. But another massive problem with Amberlynn is that she will refuse to show any proof at any single avenue. So when her auntie is coming out and actually showing proof of certain scenarios, it does really come across as, well, there's only one side to the story. And I think she knows that, and I think that's why she's struggling to find stuff. Hence why she's disappearing off for quite a while.
I'm not calling my aunt a in that way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she was with someone who did that. And it is what it is. I'm only using my voice for other people's voices that weren't able to be used. If my aunt is pissed about that, then you know what? Be pissed. Like, genuinely.
Sorry, what? Using your own voice? So by lying about having something very terrible, the R charge, happen to you, that is using your voice because someone else can't use theirs? That is such a stupid argument. Not only that, but also because her auntie was abused by someone else. So, like, why can't she use her voice as well? I think the problem is that she's acting like, well, this is just what I'm doing. I'm just sharing my own story. But when your story is like littered in so many lies and contradicting statements, it makes no sense, and you're not really giving a coherent argument. You're not speaking for the voiceless, you just might as well be voiceless. And also, she said she's got no problem, especially with her auntie, and then she goes on and says this:
she can say what she wants, and the minute I do it, see you in court, it's off the wall. It's a different type of narcissist. It's a different type of crazy than I've ever seen. I want no part in it. Genuinely.
I think the problem is you don't really have a choice whether you want a part in it or not, because you are being dragged into court. But this is what I mean. She throws about so many accusations of, well, this auntie is a narcissist because she's showing proof that gets rid of the claims of what she's saying. Does that mean, by definition, anyone who is going against Amberlynn is then a narcissist themselves? She threw this word about around her previous ex as well. So it comes to question, maybe the only person in the room that is a narcissist is the one that talks about themselves all the time. And who potentially could that be? I don't know. Maybe the one doing exactly this and doing a bi stream and announcing that I'm bi. Not that kind of bi, as in like aware, you know. It's just embarrassing. But also with embarrassing is the way that she acts around YouTube, because she puts no effort into it. Yet she thinks that she's the best in the world at it, and everyone should be really disappointed she's gone.
I hate the drama. I don't have drama in my real life. I hate the dramatics. I don't have any of this in my real life currently.
You heard what I just heard there, right? That she doesn't have any drama in her life currently. I can think of maybe one thing, maybe the thing that she was talking about a minute ago, where she said she's getting sued by her auntie, which by definition is a real life thing. Like, just think about it. I just hate how she never thinks about anything. She just goes straight for the hills. Like, oh my God. Never have any drama in my real life, but I'm getting sued by my auntie, and I'm also having a breakup drama where I am going and slandering this person on a live stream, saying that they're the worst in the world and they abused me purely out of spite. That sounds like a very real world problem once again.
Addicts. I don't have any of this in my real life currently. And it's like, I feel like I'm living, I'm literally Hannah Montana. Like, I ain't got the best of both worlds. I have one real good world and one real bad one. And YouTube is the bad one.
Hannah Montana. Does she really think she's Hannah Montana? Well, she's in a Miley Cyrus era, but like the bad bit before the good bit, you know. But I'm not going to deny that YouTube might be a terrible place for her, because she has spawned this thing with her actions on the platform. She is essentially a lol cow at this point. So the way that she navigates YouTube must be quite hard for her, but it's all to do with her own actions anyway. She created this mess, and she thinks that everyone will crawl back to her and love her and give her attention, but the majority of people that do watch her are just watching this downfall and spiral. So her going off is a genuinely good thing, but the way that she looks at it in the form of, well, her actual fans that do care about her, it's just baffling, because it's like, well, you're just acting like this is the worst thing in the world, that you've been given this gift to be able to make YouTube videos and earn money literally on the internet without an actual job. Do you know how hard it is? Do you know how many grinds I had to go on to get to this point? And she's just saying it like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just is what it is. It's a terrible thing. It's the worst thing in my life. And the good thing is the side where you're getting sued by your auntie. I'm not sure that is. But she has absolutely no grace for what she has done and what she is. It's just embarrassing to see.
Bad things can happen to those who get treated like this constantly. And I'm done putting myself kind of in that position. And I hope with this month of Amberlynn kind of just like leaving social media, I hope that
she talks about herself in the third person. She's calling two other people that are in this drama narcissists, and then talking about herself as the Amberlynn Reid, you know, the one. The only other people that I've seen mention their own name like intentionally without like some sort of like ironic thing is genuinely narcissists. How could you even put yourself in a position where you're saying that and actually being genuine? God, she baffles my mind, and it only gets worse.
Maybe some people can also sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe I am a little too harsh with Amberlynn. Like, I get that all the time. I get so many DMs of people like, I'm sorry, I realize reaction channels are shit. Like, Girl World is insane. They're hypocrites. Like, I get those. I get the apologies. I get all of that. And I love it, but it's like, I wish more people could see that and be like that.
She wishes more people could see her for what she is. That's a real shame that she doesn't have that in her life currently. All of you out here watching this, knowing all of the dreadful stuff that she's done, well, you really just need to realise what she's like as a person and how she's moved and how she's got better as a person. You all need to understand that. I'm going to flip it back on her once again. It looks like narcissism, the way that she's talking about herself in the third person and saying that everyone has gone and said that, well, they've realised what she's like. Why can't other people realise that too? Well, maybe because they don't want to. And also saying, I'm going to be gone for a month now, so you're leaving, then you're going to be leaving for a month. Come on, make a decision here. Yeah, I think she just realises, well, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to set it up like that, but then also, yeah, I'm definitely coming back. Just the truth leaks out slowly from her, because she's leaving for a month, but then she's pretending here that she is literally changing her life and going onto a different pasture.
But what's great about life is that people can move on. And if I decide in this month that YouTube is no longer for me, then YouTube is no longer for me, because I am capable of moving on, doing better. I just have to decide that for myself.
Right. I think she might be a bit troubled there, because, yeah, well, that's not going to happen, is it? How could she think that she's just going to move on with her life and everything be fine when she's done YouTube for 13 years now? She is a woman who is self-proclaimed to have mobility issues and blood pressure issues and that sort of thing because of her weight, and then she's going to struggle if she tries to get out in the real world anyway and get an actual job. She won't be able to do it because it'll be too strenuous on her body. And you really think of this 20-minute clip down live stream that she is really talking about herself in the third person and saying, I die every other second, for her then to not come back to what she loves. It's evident here that she does love what she does. She just really wants the pity and sympathy from the people that really do try and support her, and I don't know why they do. And also, doubling on with the pity cards, you've got yet another example of her just talking about one of her ailments, which is BPD that she supposedly has.
Always come on and I'm in such a positive, happy headspace, and then some bullshit happens because it's drama that this community gives me, and it's drama that my aunt is giving me, and then I react to that as someone who does have BPD, so I act kind of extra sometimes, and then I'm the one who's to blame. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Like, it never will be.
You acting out on people is a form of you being the problem, not anyone else. And for her to say that it doesn't make sense, how does it not make sense at all? Just because someone has said something on the internet, like, you need to hit him with the sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Because how can you act out in such a ridiculous manner every month or so now and think that you can get away with it because you've got this certain ailment? It's just another blamey thing. It's another victim blamey thing from her, because she feels like the professional victim, and you all are making it so much worse for her to even exist. But then also the BPD saga is something which has been very well documented over the years, which shows that, well, does she even have it? Like, for example, here I'm showing a screenshot from Aunty speaking, saying that she has previously 100% used BPD as an excuse. Anytime she'd have tantrums, she wouldn't take any accountability because it's because of the BPD. And she'd be like, I'm trying not to be mean, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel, when she would literally scream at me about something like taking longer than 4 minutes, longer than I said I would when I went outside for a smoke. She also made a lot of false promises getting into therapy. She told me so many different occasions that she was signed up and never went. So it's definitely an excuse for it. It's a way for her to act as like a cop-out, like, this is what I've got, so you all need to understand what I'm like, and obviously I've not done anything wrong. And it's exactly what she's doing here. I have BPD, I act out on people, so I am not in the wrong because of that. You should know because of what I've got. But then also, she'd never shown any proof of that at all, which I'm not saying you have to. I've got ADHD and I've never shown any proof of that. But I think that in the case of Amberlynn, it is definitely something which could help disseminate a lot of people that think that she's faking it, because she's faked stuff in the past and she also lies a lot. You can't trust her by a word. So a simple like showing of her actual diagnosis would go a long way, but she refuses to do it, to the point where you see stuff like this on Instagram. Why don't you show your diagnosis? Curious because you can prove everything you can. I also have never shown my hypertension diagnosis, but people sure are quick to believe that. Like, this is genuinely hilarious. When you are obese, you do have a much higher chance, actually a guaranteed chance, when you get over a certain limit, of having high blood pressure. So yeah, she's probably got that. People believe that. But with BPD, it's something that's very much more nuanced and complex, and something that should really be taken care of by a psychiatrist, looked after and understood. And clearly, if she had any sort of proof, I don't think she'd act in this dismissive sense, because this is like, well, I've not shown one thing and you all believe it, so I shouldn't show anything. It's totally taking away from the actual question and just bouncing it back with like a rebuttal, which is pointless. Also kind of insinuating that, well, if you believe that one easy, you can believe this one easy because of the way that I act. And like, no one can. It's just embarrassing from her. If she would prove that this is a thing, that would really go a long way to her getting like some understanding of what she's like, but she just won't do it. And then we go to, once again, more depressing, I've done nothing wrong and everyone should feel sorry for me.
The way that I'm treated has genuinely destroyed me. And I'm not the person I once was. I'm not. Like, I'm not who I'm meant to be. Because of all the hate, one person can only genuinely take so much. And I know I don't deserve even 90% of this. I know I don't. Once
again, saying, oh my god, I don't believe that everyone is attacking me like this. I don't deserve it at all. Yeah, I'm sure you don't. I mean, I do agree that she needs to leave, but just take it in for a second and realize this is a consequence of all of her actions, but she's deciding to run away from it all. But despite all of this, she just really wants to just get away for a little bit, and I think that she's definitely not quitting.
During that time, I might film something,
you know? But I'm not gonna upload until October 1st. I just don't want to upload anything new, you know?
How courageous of her, not uploading till October the 1st. That is really something that she should do, because that'll help her a lot. Just going away for what, like 4 weeks? None of this is all her fault, and you all are horrible. So she's gonna go away for 4 weeks, even though she said, I'm gonna be leaving forever, I'm gonna be potentially leaving forever, I'm gonna be leaving for a month, and now I'm definitely uploading on October 1st. You need to believe what she says. To me, this entire saga is built around the fact that she has been sued, she's had her pants pulled down on live, and she needs time to reflect and bring things together so then she can go on the offensive again, I imagine. Maybe she wants the time off so that she can actually go and look at herself and help herself, but from what we're seeing, that's not happening, because her aunt just keeps dropping truth bombs, and I imagine there's more stuff that's going to come up that she's going to shine a terrible light onto her in the coming weeks, and maybe her thinking, yeah, I'm going off, saying that I'm going off, might think that, oh, my auntie might get away from it, but she's not. Like this she posted recently, where Amberlynn said, say what you want about me because I'm at the point where I don't care, says more about you than me, but telling people where I live is illegal. Look up doxing, especially with the kind of community you have decided to latch onto. This is regarding, right, her auntie just saying that she's got a downstairs. With her auntie saying, apparently she's saying that because I confirmed she was lying again and that she lived on the ground floor, no need to take an elevator. She has shown her window before in the video and has stated her mum knocked on her window before. That's not doxing. Because yeah, it doesn't take a nuclear scientist to react to this and find out, oh well, if you've already said it, and also there's nothing to do with actually where you live, it's just that you live on the ground floor, that is not remotely doxing. And you wonder why Amberlynn has never taken this to police, don't you? No, you don't. Obviously you don't. But this all is definitely a pattern of behaviour from Amberlynn Reid, the notorious crash outer. Even going to the point, as I'm showing here briefly, of her having a massive message crash out over her auntie posting something on YouTube, which is just hilarious. Saying thumbs down for the shopping choices, but not going to lecture you, you know that. Leading her to then send all of this, which is just horrible, all of it. Talking about her family members smoking certain substances and also her drinking. Just going straight for the jugular, like we have seen earlier with what she's been doing. I think she's losing a grasp on herself, on also her community, and I also think that she's kind of given up a little bit on how she takes things, and also it's not looking good, so she's gonna take at least 4 weeks off. And I think we only need to see the next saga in the next couple of days with the amount of posts that her auntie is posting. Safe to say, Amberlynn Reid is a terrible case of TikTok cringe. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. I've been Jake Baz, and I'll see you all later. Take care.